A uniformed soldier was standing at the counter of a Taco Bell, ready to order his meal when he stopped cold. He had overheard what two boys were saying and knew he needed to address them. As he did, another diner whipped out his phone to record the exchange, which left him and many viewers stunned. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert Risden had no idea he was being watched, let alone recorded. Now, when he went to a Taco Bell in Mobile, Alabama, to grab some dinner, unbeknownst to the uniformed soldier, he had captured the attention of Jason Gibson, a man who was sitting alone and eating his meal. Both Risden and Gibson quickly noticed a couple of boys darting around the front of the restaurant. When Risden overheard what the boys were up to, he wanted to ask the boys a question, and it nearly left Gibson choking on his burrito. Shocked, he whipped out his phone and started to record. The two young boys, aged 9 and 13, had seemingly been left alone at the fast food joint, hoping to sell some items from home. They were peddling homemade desserts in an effort to raise money for their local church. Unfortunately, Army Lieutenant Colonel Risden didn't have any cash on him. Risden could have simply declined, demanded to know where their parents were, or pretended not to see them at all. But he couldn't ignore the children. The soldier had quickly noticed the boys looked cold and wet, and it was getting late. So he asked them if they had had anything to eat for dinner yet. They hadn't. What happened next was captured on camera by Gibson, who was so affected that he uploaded the video to Facebook and begged others to share it. I was in a Taco Bell tonight when two kids came in trying to sell homemade desserts for money. I overheard a soldier ask the kids if they were hungry and told them to follow him to the counter. He would buy them dinner. I had to video it and share, Gibson wrote in the video caption, explaining how the kind-hearted soldier invited the boys up to the register, where he told them to order whatever they wanted to fill their bellies. Dinner was on him. With huge smiles and hearts full of gratitude for this stranger, the boys danced around with excitement as they awaited their warm meals. On top of buying tacos and drinks for the kids, Risden shared a friendly conversation with them. It was a moving sight, to say the least. And Gibson wasn't the only one left feeling proud of those who bravely serve our country wherever they are. The footage touched tens of thousands of people who were compelled to share the inspirational clip across social media. As the video went viral, more was learned about the heroic soldier. Robert Risden, a U.S. Army Ranger and a father of two, was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia. Helping them was an easy decision, more of a reaction. They were cold, wet, and hungry. They were great kids, very respectful and smart, he said. It was the least I could do for two young Americans. They were happy to get some chow for sure, and very thankful. Risden says his motivation to help lies in the U.S. Army Rangers' mission statement. I think I can best sum things up as to why I did it because of a creed I live up to every day. The Ranger Creed, he said. One line in the creed encapsulates, I think, why I helped. Never shall I fail my comrades. Calling the boys his comrades, he added, it was my duty to help them. Praise for his actions flooded social media, but Risden admitted, I'm kind of embarrassed and humbled by the praise, but he was quick to say he doesn't need it. Further explaining what he meant, Risden added, I am a believer that we live in the best country in the world with the best people, and that acts of kindness happen every day. Others see things differently, however. Our troops are always taking care of us. Gibson's caption to the video that captured the soldier's good deed continued. He went on to thank Lieutenant Colonel Risden and asked others to Please share this," adding, "I heard the little one say I want to be just like you when I grow up," and saluted him. Indeed, this world could use a lot more men like Robert Risden, who will always be remembered, not only by these two boys, but all others who got to see and enjoy his spontaneous act of kindness. He proved that our soldiers are honorable men, always looking out for their fellow American, big or small. Our brave men and women in the military give so much, both on and off the battlefield. Robert Risden is proof, and sometimes it's the smallest acts that make the biggest impact in ways we may not have ever imagined. He only aimed to fill 2 bellies that day, but this soldier touched hearts everywhere. The least that we can do is give him some well-earned recognition. As news of Lieutenant Colum Risden's act of kindness spread, people from all over the country began to share their own stories of how military personnel have gone above and beyond their duty, both at home and abroad. It became clear that while many of these moments of generosity go unnoticed, they are a fundamental part of the character of those who serve. Risden's actions that day reminded everyone that heroism is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about small, meaningful acts that make a difference in someone's life. The 2 boys in the Taco Bell were visibly moved by Risden's gesture. For them, this was more than just a meal. They were in a vulnerable situation, working hard to raise money, but cold, hungry, and far from home. Having someone like Lieutenant Colum Risden step in and show them kindness was likely something they would never forget. In a world where so many people are focused on their own lives, Risden's simple act stood out as a powerful reminder of the importance of compassion. Jason Gibson, the man who filmed the encounter, couldn't have anticipated the reach his video would have. What he captured was not just a soldier buying a meal for 2 kids, but a moment that highlighted the ripple effect of kindness. As viewers watched the video, many found themselves reflecting on their own actions and whether they were doing enough to help those in need. It was a humbling reminder that sometimes the opportunity to do good is right in front of us. The boys' excitement as they ordered their meals was infectious. They couldn't contain their joy, smiling and laughing as they waited for their food. Risden's kindness had transformed what could have been a difficult night for the boys into a memorable one. It wasn't just the warm meal that filled their bellies, but the warmth of knowing that someone cared about them. It's these kinds of moments that remind us of the power of generosity. For Lieutenant Colum Risden, this was just another day. As an Army Ranger, he was trained to look out for others and to be ready to step in whenever needed. He didn't see himself as a hero or expect any recognition for what he did. In his eyes, it was a natural reaction to the situation. But to the rest of the world, his actions that night reflected the true spirit of the military, always ready to serve and protect, not just in battle, but in everyday life. The video also sparked a conversation about the importance of supporting local communities. Many viewers were inspired by the boys' dedication to raising money for their church, despite the challenging circumstances. It was a reminder that there are children and families all around us who are working hard to make ends meet, and a little kindness can go a long way in supporting them. As the video continued to spread, people began to recognize Lieutenant Colum Risden for more than just his act of kindness in the Taco Bell. Stories surfaced about his leadership and service in the military, painting a picture of a man who has spent his life looking out for others. Whether on the battlefield or in a fast food restaurant, Risden's sense of duty to his fellow man never wavered. For those who watched the video, It was impossible not to feel moved. Many were left in tears, touched by the simplicity of the gesture and the joy it brought to the two young boys. It was a reminder that, in a world often filled with negativity, there are still countless moments of kindness and compassion happening all around us. We just need to be open to seeing them. As for the two boys, their encounter with Lieutenant Colum Risden may have been brief, but the impact it had on them was lasting. They had not only filled their stomachs, but they had also experienced the kindness of a stranger who saw them, cared about them, and took action. In the years to come, they would likely remember this moment as a defining one in their lives, a reminder that there are good people in the world who are willing to help. In the end, Lieutenant Colum Risden's actions remind us of the importance of paying attention to the people around us. Whether it's two boys in need of a meal or someone else facing a challenge, there are always opportunities to make a difference. It doesn't take much. Sometimes all it takes is a little kindness and a willingness to help. And as Risden proved, those small acts can leave a big impression.